Hey guys, welcome back to another Tracks on Sundays. It's not Sunday today, it's Wednesday, but there is a guaranteed Void champion. Finally, after a year of saving, I think. We almost missed this guy too because last weekend I pulled 109 Void shards without any legendary on a 2x event. And I was contemplating if I was, you know, needed to keep like 110 or not. So if they made this guy 110, we would have been screwed today, which would have been a mental breakdown, I think. But let's take a look at this guy. Valkanen is the guaranteed champion that we're getting. Now, I gotta say, when this guy came out, I didn't really like it. Didn't really do anything for me. They did like a 10x immediately when he came out, and I know a lot of people were going for him because of the lore, I think. But I've never had a bad Alcazar, so being the young bad Alcazar, that didn't really, float my boat or whatever. It didn't do anything for me really. But I must say I have fought this guy in arena, and if you can get him to work, he smacks. But that's pretty much the hard part, right? You need some kind of setup to make him smack. Now, let's go over his kit real quick, and then I'll show you what I mean with that. So, his A1 attacks one enemy. This attack ignores shield buffs. Has a 60% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Also has an 80% chance of applying debuff spread, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under a hex debuff. This goes up to 80 and this goes up to 100%. 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance here. Attacks all enemies. This attack deals single target damage to each target individually rather than AoE damage. So this is like anti-Duchess, basically, right? Before attacking has 100% chance of placing a hex debuff on all enemies. Will ignore 20% of each enemy's resistance for each dead ally. That's kind of weird. You don't really want your allies to be dead, so you should probably ignore this for the 100% of this last wording. Damage of this skill increases by 10% for each debuff on each enemy. Now, that is something that is pretty nifty. In this meta, if you can manage not to get shept or sheeped or however you want to call it, if you can get debuffs on the enemies, this is probably just gonna, smack very hard. But without getting a sheep debuff, that is pretty difficult, right? Now, this is the cool part of his kit. That's bargain. Target an ally. If the ally is alive, kills them and unlocks a secret skill, Malice Unleashed. Also places a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns, so the big boy version, and True Fear debuff for 1 turn on all enemies. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. Then fills this champion's turn meter by 75%. That's kind of like a, that could be a problem because that's not 100%. So he doesn't really, he doesn't take an extra turn after he does this. But we'll see what we can do with that. If the ally is dead, heals this champion by 50% of the dead ally's max HP. If all allies are dead, also unlocks a secret skill, Malice Unleashed. Places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to any surplus heal. If this champion already has a shield buff, the value of the shield is increased by any surplus heal. Then fills this champion's turn meter by 75% again. So you're never getting the full 100%, but there's some stuff going on here. But it's this Malice Unleashed, which is basically a very hard-hitting move. Malice Unleashed attacks one enemy. Before attacking, steals all buffs from the target, cannot be resisted. If the target has attack equal to or higher than this champion's attack, this attack gains bonus damage multiplier equal to the target's attack. Not applicable to bosses. Well, that would have been insane, right? If the target's attack is less than this champion's attack, this attack will ignore 50% of the target's defense. So, basically any support or whatever, you're going to ignore 50% of the defense. This attack will also ignore block damage, unkillable, shield, and ally protection buffs. Places a block revive debuff if the target is killed. Now, that's a pretty strong move right there, right? His passive places a shield buff on this champion each time an ally or enemy champion dies. The value of the shield buff is equal to 50% of the dead champion's max HP. This shield buff cannot be removed, stolen, or transferred. Now, that's a pretty big shield. However you put it, like, that's always going to be at least 15,000 shield on top of this guy's HP. But probably more closer to like 20,000 shield. Anytime one of your allies dies, he gets that kind of shield. If this champion is already under a shield buff, the value of the shield is increased by 50% of the dead champion's max HP. So you just add on top of whatever shield you already have. Does not activate when a boss or minion dies. Oh, I didn't even notice. It was even if you kill an enemy, you get that shield too. So that's, that's pretty special as well, right? Whenever an enemy hits this champion while they are under a shield buff, places a random debuff on the attacking enemy. True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Petrification, Sleep, and Stun debuffs are placed for 1 turn. So one of these debuffs. Any other debuffs are placed for 2 turns. Wait. Whenever an enemy hits this champion while they are under shield buff, places random debuff on the attacking enemy. Oh, okay. So those ones are for 1 turn, and any other ones, so he can okay, I get it. He can do other ones too, but they're for 2 turns. What about sheep debuff? I wonder if he can sheep someone, because I don't know, cannot place boss exclusive debuffs, sheep or smite. All right. I should have read further, right? It will ignore 20% of the enemy resistance for each dead ally again. That's so weird. I don't think that, we shouldn't really be looking at that, I don't think. And then we have this really good arena aura. Now, all these things that we just talked about, they are very arena oriented, right? So it increases ally speed in arena battles by 30%. I think if you're going to use this guy, you're going to want to be faster than your opponent. I don't think this guy is going to work very well in a Go second team. I could be mistaken. There might be some things that we could try and work out with him. But overall, this kid is like so funky that there's probably something you can do with him, but we just haven't seen that much. That, it's not really meta. You still have Taras and Marishka going on. So, like, is he going to beat those champions? No, he's not. And if he's not beating them, well, what is he beating? But at my elo, or my level, I guess you could say, he might be one of my best nukers if I get him, or once I get him. And I don't really face that many Taras and Marishkas, because I'm pretty low. I'm just like gold 1, very early gold 1 in live arena. And in live arena, you get the choice of banning Marishka or Taras, right? So, there might be some cool things you can do with them. Some things that I've seen. So, the first time I think I faced him twice. And the first time I faced him, it was next to a Wukong. So, he just like killed his own Wukong, which doesn't matter because Wukong comes back in a couple of turns, right? And I don't know how or why. Maybe he had this speed tuned where this guy did this ability, went up to 75%, and then had like someone else give him extra turn meter or something. I don't know exactly how they did it, but he basically just did this and immediately after went into this, where is it? Malice Unleashed and block revive killed someone on my team. And if you can do this, it's pretty much GG, right? Because this move is just like, yeah, it's basically a void affinity more to macabre, right? It's basically a peril attack, but then better, right? I guess you could argue against someone like Rhodos, who has the annoying passive, uh, where you actually need a double hitter. You could argue against him that's not the case, but in general, it's probably going to be better than more to macabre. So arena offense, Hydra, they put him 4.72. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, he's not like S tier or whatever, but this is what we've been waiting for. So we might as well just go and get him, you know. So let's enter the chat. And we're definitely going to be going into Mercy. So that means we should be getting 2 legendary. So I hope I don't pull this guy before I pull the 100, because I've seen that happen before, and what happens then is your event is over. You don't get 2 Valkanen then, you just get the 1 Valkanen. So that would be the most dramatic thing ever. But here we go. Let's see what we can get. Can we get anything cool to go along with this Valkanen? Our 2x was horrible for us. Faceless, he's fun. I've used a lot of him. Another man-eater. But we're not looking for those, of course. We're looking for gold. 800 points. That's not going to be a lot, right? Hero Grim. And that means the rest is rares. Yep. There's a couple of void epics that I would still enjoy getting. Ooh, he's preparing something for us here. No, he's not. Oh, it's probably the tournament position, right? 1 epic. Sky Touch Shaman. We don't need her. We pull enough of those. 1100. That could be a legendary. There's an epic. Another epic. Skimpfos is pretty good. I've yet to build one, I think, though. Might have one at 50, but... Renegade. Ah, Raglan? Man, that's not really what I'm looking for. Unfortunate. Nah, I don't think I have any use for Raglan. Attacks one enemy 3 times, fills turn meter of 3 random allies by 15%. Allies can only have their turn meter filled once per turn by this skill. Removes all debuffs on all allies, then heals them. The heal amount is proportional to this champion's attack. What? Why? On a 4-turn cooldown, too? Really? A, a, okay. But she does have, like, revives an ally with 75 HP, 75% HP and full turn meter on a 2-turn cooldown round. Like, that's her thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Like this could have been a Terrace or a Marishka, and it's a Raglan. So, or it could have been a Chris. I don't know. Not too exciting. I'm not gonna lie. It's not too exciting. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she works well with Valkanen, who we're getting with this. But man, my mercy went down on a Raglan. That is, well, at least it wasn't Valkanen, right? And at least we still have some pulls to go. Maybe we're lucky. Maybe something else comes out of the box. Not this one though. This is yikes. That's what this is. That's think that's just an epic, right? Or two epics? Skull Crown. Ah, Raglan, dude. It's not the worst of the bunch. It could have been worse, but it's definitely doesn't feel good. Hey, another Skrank. I just recently I pulled my first one this weekend. Started building him too, so it looks pretty cool actually. We have some more. How many more do we have? I don't know. Ooh, 1400 points. Just show me gold, baby. It's just gonna be the hundredth one. It's gonna be Valkanen. Yep, there you go. Well, what do people say about it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, kind of disappointed, not gonna lie. I was hoping for more there, but hey, at least we cleared all this and we took first place here. So if this guy doesn't pull any voids, we're we're walking away here with another Eternal Soul Stone, which is kind of cool. It's not bad. Valkanen, Raglan. Add to the list of shitty void legendaries. Yeah, we don't have that many great ones, to be honest. Like we have this one and this one, and she's good too. Ryo is good too. That's my sixth void legendary in 2.5 years of playing. It's not too many, is it? So that's why I actually always go for these guaranteed void events because these are just so rare. Even if it's one like this that you don't really want, or this, because if I could have chosen, I wouldn't have grabbed this one. But we finally did it. They've depleted our void shards finally, and they gave us Raglan. Hooray! If any one of you plays with Raglan and is like, Trax, you're crazy, she's super good, please inform me. Because I don't know. I mean, 2 turn cooldown on that seems okay, but I just never see anyone use a Raglan. So, and again, I don't know where I'm going to use another Reviver. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But yeah, not super exciting, dude. So I guess we'll probably just keep her unbooked, level her up to 60, give her masteries maybe and all that. But I don't see myself really putting books into her. I do want to try some stuff with this guy. But thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check on Sunday. We're going to turn someone's early game account into a mid to late game account by fixing their Ultra Nightmare team, going from a 2-key Nightmare to a 2 to 3 key Ultra Nightmare team. Hope you guys have a nice rest of the week, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday. Peace.